Yeah. Do you guys want to talk about that at all? You know, any of the how hard it's been, or any of that stuff, or the things that have been positive for you?
I remember when the whole pandemic idea was like starting to come out, and like it was starting to come out that it like was possibly going to come to the US, or it was already in the US. And in my biology class, every day we were like checking the numbers, and over the weekend we would make predictions to see like, oh, what's the number going to be? It's going to be like what, 35,000 by Monday. And now it's like into the millions, and it was really crazy to just see that escalation, because like coming into the new year when we were still talking about like everything happening overseas, it was really strange to watch it, I guess, escalate so much and kind of just like take over our country, and watch like our entire, I guess, final high school year kind of like dissipate. But
Mm-hmm. Is there the sense with any of you that it's a difficult question to ask, but I think it's worth asking. Have any of you personalized this and said, of course this would happen to me right before I graduate? Of course this would happen to me. It was just about to go. I'm cursed. This is the way my life was always going to end up. Even good things end up bad. This is how it was going to go. And maybe you feel guilty about thinking that, because you know that another way of thinking is that people have it worse, but that you still go, I was doomed to this. Have you thought this?
My brain goes to that like at night when I'm alone, and I'm like, of course I'm cursed because I did that one thing like 4 years ago where I left a wrapper on the ground that I saw, and this is the karma.
Yeah.
But also like I've that was more at the beginning, because when it first started happening, like Rainey said, we were seeing it happen everywhere else first, and it kind of felt slow-mo. It kind of felt like everything was going a lot slower, because as soon as it crept up, it didn't feel real at all, like the disassociation thing. And I think that was more of a coping mechanism when like things got really weird, because I wanted to say like, this is because I'm cursed. But in reality, it's been a nice, like not nice, but it's been a way for me to slow down too, because I think I was living in a lot of like panic in my world. Like I needed to get everything done, and I only had so long to do it. And now I've taken a step back and like learned to appreciate Montana, and I learned to appreciate time by myself and time with other people. And it's given me a good lesson on like privilege, and also not coping by blaming myself or a curse that doesn't exist.
That's right. A curse that doesn't. Well, because this is the only life you have, right? You can only live the life you have. And so, of course, you would sometimes interpret these things as happening. Well, it is happening to you. It's just that I guess the balance is that it's not happening to just you. But of course, you would interpret these things as being characters in the story of your life. And it can be very scary to go, this is what the story of my life actually ends up being. And the reason I bring it up is because I want to tell you, it's not. It's not. It's not because you pulled the different color underwear out of the drawer that day. It's not because of the thing you said to your mom when you were mad. It's not because, of course, just when good things happen to you, things go bad. I would, and without getting too existential, I would posit the theory that no matter, this was an absolute redirection, right? This was like, boom, somebody went like this on the train tracks, and then the tracks went like that. But it didn't go from all good to all bad. It just went from this kind of reality to this kind of reality. And this kind of reality still has good and bad in it. I mean, everybody who's on this call and beyond is laughed their ass off at some point in the last 2 months, right? And everyone in the last 2 months has sat with a friend and went, this is the greatest. This moment's the greatest. So it's not necessarily this shift from absolutely awesome to totally miserable. The same amount of good, relative good and bad exists. It's just such a changing of the tracks. And so it's not doom. It's just a complete restructuring or recalibration of all these things. And in those things, good things will come out. You'll meet people you had no chance of meeting otherwise. or have conversations that could never have happened. So I think that's my way of sort of dismantling the idea that you're doomed or you're cursed or you're haunted, that of all the years to be alive, of course, the time you finally get to graduate, this happens. And that's just not. I promise you that's not the case. Promise. That's the easiest promise I ever made in my life.